Hey, Jesse McDougall here, The Martial Arts of Money. Second book review of the day. This one with coffee. I was pleased with the last one with no coffee, but I want coffee, so here we go. I just finished this book a couple days ago. Very excited about it. Musashi. So, 1,000-page book. So the cool thing about Musashi, this book, is this is the greatest Japanese swordsman that ever lived. He was an undefeated swordsman to the death. I think he's got need a fact checker. Fact checker. About 63 kills. The sword. Killed 63 humans with a sword. So that's what we're talking about here. Kind of serious. So this is a gentleman who wrote the book of the Five Rings. So this book is about the book of the Five Rings. It's like the fundamentals of... we're not going to talk about the book of the Five Rings. But you might have heard of it. A very, very popular book written in the 1600s. I believe he wrote it in a cave after this novel finished. So this novel was actually a series released in the Japanese newspaper. I think so it's a fictional story. It's like an adventure story, right? Talking about his life and stuff and making a story into it. So I'm pretty sure it was 1929 it was released in Japan newspapers. It came in, this is a series of books in here, but for me it's just one book. You buy as one book. But it was released in the Japanese newspapers, separate books, in 1929. So this was reprinted in 1971. It was translated to English. So hey, that's cool. Yeah, this book, wow. I'm going to recommend reading this book first, and then if you want to explore more samurai Bushido stuff, then read those documents like Bushido, Book of the Five Rings. There's a couple other ones. Just Google them. There's a bunch of 5 books you should read if you want to master or be very knowledgeable in this realm. Greatest thing I like about Musashi is greatest thing, I don't know, there's so many things, but it's interesting to see he's always improving himself as a well-rounded character. And one actual thing from samurai philosophy is that they don't focus on anything that is not, say, productive. They don't focus on art or music or anything like that. They're all just this: practice, shoot, kill, train. And reading this book, I realized, no, Musashi was he's also a sculptor, a writer, an artist. He drew, and talks about being one with the sword and being with all the elements. So the book actually, it goes through all the elements, book 1, earth, book 2, water, book 3, fire, book 4, wind, book 5, sky, book 6, sun and moon, book 7, the perfect light. So he's what this is saying is you're focusing on these different elements of the world or universe, and then the last one, once you reach enlightenment, the perfect light. So yeah, the way this story portrays Musashi is it's not always about anger and violence and defeating your enemy and killing to win. That's not really what the way is all about. So this was very, very, very great book. Actually, I came across this book on Instagram. Tim Ferriss posted it, and I was like, oh, dude, I just seen a picture of the book. I need to read that. And then I read Tim Ferriss's book, Tool of Titans. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Tools of Titans. And that was a recommended book in there by a couple of others, his other guests. There's another famous book. It's called Shogun by James Carville. Shogun by James Carville. I'm going to read that one as well. The Book of the Five Rings, and then Hagwire. is in Hagwire. Hagwire and Bushido, The Way of the Samurai, they're kind of the same book. But I'm gonna read the Shogun, Five Rings, and Hagwire, and then I'm gonna wrap up the whole Japanese history, samurai, Zen philosophy kind of stuff. Because the thing I learned with rabbit holes is like the rabbit holes never stop. You just keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. So it's good to read reading books and growing your mind and your outlook and your perspective and stuff. But at the end of the day, you need results out of the world to achieve your goals. And reading for me is just a passion. I like growing and learning, but where I'm at in life, practicality of realities, I don't need to learn and grow anymore. I just need to make shit happen. But I just love reading. So that's cool. I'm just following a passion. But more about this Musashi book. It's okay if I give it a... You know what? I don't want to give it away. There's one... I don't know. Maybe I'll give it away. I don't know. Spoiler alert. Attention. Spoiler alert. Sure. Okay, so he's pretty well known for this. He fought this one school. So it was weird. So he killed the main guy at this one school, and all these other guys get pissed off and they gang up on him and try to kill him. It's like, well, the first thing is if Buddy kills your main guy, and you're 5 of you are going to come and try to kill me now. And he dominated them, killed all 5 of them, pissed the school off even more. So then they planned like a whole invasion army in the woods for him, and he dominated like I don't know how many people, but like he took on all these people just by himself with just hit and run guerrilla tactics and applying the art of war. At this period of time, like the art of war, like they all practiced the art of war, which was written, written 500 AD? I'm not sure, but that was pretty amazing. And when he realized when he's fighting this school that, there's maybe 100 soldiers, samurais, that he was fighting. It's like he's one guy. You're not going to beat 100 soldiers. So what he did was, killed a couple, and then he went for the last guy who was in charge. So he killed like the son, then the father, and there was another son who was like the last leader. He was just a kid. He was like 9. Musashi went for him and fucking sliced him. Boom, put an end to it, and people could not believe he killed the 9-year-old. So it was kind of like, this is serious stuff, right? And then the end of the book, this is just one like little thing too. But there's a lot of lessons in here. It's like, for me, it's a role model. There's so many lessons in life to learn here, but I'm not sure if I read this when I was 18, if I would pick up on this, or now that I'm in my 30s or my late 20s. I don't know what. I'd really like to get some people's feedback of what age they read this book and what knowledge have they kept to apply to the real world, because there's a lot of wisdom in this book, even though it's a fictional novel, which is pretty cool. But this, I think, will give you a good basis to dig into like Hagwire and the Book of the Five Rings, because when you read the Book of the Five Rings or Hagwire or Bushido, they talk in like very Zen concepts, and it's like it's deep stuff. You got to pause and think. It's like, so if I grew up in Canada or the United States and it's all consumerism and I'm not all into Zen and all that yet, the Book of the Five Rings and Hagwire and really the fundamentals of a significant part of Japanese culture and samurai philosophy and Zen perspective it's high level stuff. So if you can't relate to it, it's going to be hard to apply it. Because you don't want to just read stuff, hey, I'm reading and I check my box and put this, I have a nice collection of books here, but it's not about that. It's about gaining wisdom and becoming a better person. So this is just an amazing book. I highlighted a lot of stuff in here, but I lost my highlighter, so I didn't highlight as much as I wanted to. I'll read a couple stuff. If you're a priest, you should know better than to trust only what you see and hear. You should consider things with your mind and spirit. What does that mean? Read the book. Realizing the battle had already begun, instead of challenging Musashi, they had been sitting around the fire and had let him challenge them. So yeah, he does like a lot of like these tactics. You're like, what? Like, who does that? Like, so the element of surprise is huge, huge. Musashi's face went deadly white, and through his eyes stared the eyes of the god of vengeance. Glittering with venom, he selected his prey. Cool. But this is a true story. So, yeah, you got a little bit of artistic and writer creativity there. Fictional novel, but this is real. Like, that's what he did. He looked at it like... So that's why I highlighted that. It just makes me grateful to be alive at this time and being in Canada. There's no war here and pretty stable government, and the stuff people complain about here, I'm just like, oh man. So anyways, that's it. Musashi. Great book. Peace.